Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio, and remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the beautiful west side of San Antonio, West Bexar County, also represented. I live outside the city, outside of 1604 Petranco. My name is Mike Jimenez. Joe Garcia has the day off. He has the day off because he's in training for his new job with the Department of Homeland Security. So we all congratulate him with that. I left the headset right here. I don't want to wear the headset today. I see that we have Chris Gonzalez, Garrett, Sith, Midtown, Mario Cavazos. All of you guys are on our platform right now on our YouTube stream. Please tell me if my audio sounds okay. Probably a little bit hollow because of the room that I'm in. I just hated wearing this headset. It kind of got me off my game yesterday. But we're going to go for about an hour today talking sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Some things going on with the Olympics today. You have Team USA taking on Serbia. The winner of that game goes to the gold medal round. And again, they're going to play the winner of either France or Germany. Wemby on that French team has a chance of making their way into the tournament, into the gold medal round as well. Again, you got to win the next two games to win the gold, right? But if you lose either of these games, you play for the bronze. So that's going to be pretty exciting, man. Pretty exciting as a basketball fan for this. Team USA takes the court at 2 o'clock. I believe France and Germany get going around 11:30 or so. So I'm going to be excited about that. Big day in sports when it comes to that. Now in pop culture, rapper Nelly was arrested. I don't know if you saw this. I love Nelly, okay? 2005 to 2007, basically every other song on the radio was Nelly. Dude, he even had that hit with Tim McGraw, that Over and Over Again song. You know, Hot in Here, all that stuff. He had a great run. I'm thinking about all the songs he's had. I have them on my running list when I go jogging in the neighborhood. Anyway, EI, I think is the other one that was pretty good. Long story short, he got arrested at a casino after winning a jackpot over there. Fair or foul when it comes to it, because he's calling BS on the cops. His attorneys are saying that this is wrong because apparently this is a casino that he goes to a lot, man. So we got to talk about that. I was on Locked On Spurs today. This is a Locked On Spurs. This probably won't air till tomorrow, but the funniest thing happened. I was going on this rant about Jeremy Sochan, and literally my phone melted because I was doing the show with Jeff Garcia. You know, we do it through like a StreamYard Zoom type of platform. I was outside doing this whole thing, and during my heated rant about Jeremy Sochan, my phone melted. It gave me a signal saying that it was overheated, and it was so funny because I got cut off. So that's going to be on Locked On Spurs maybe tomorrow or the next day. But don't forget to subscribe to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Speaking of the Spurs, we got a new player. Name is Malachi. What the hell's going on? I thought we were only allowed 15 players. How do we have 16 on this roster right now? But lots of people on here as well. And again, I'm not only doing this show, but because Joe is doing training for the next 2.5 weeks, I have to kind of do the producing and also man the chat line. Again, we're live right now on Facebook and on YouTube, 1,036 subscribers strong. Chris Gonzalez saying, hi, gents, what's going on? Sith coming in with his Robin Williams. Good morning, Vietnam, Midtown, Texas. Wishing everybody a good morning. And as Mario Cavazos mentioned, Malachi versus Malachi, Children of the Corn Day. Speaking of days, by the way, I saw online that it's National Whataburger Day. Is that a thing? I read online that you can go to Whataburger and get a free shake. It's a particular type of shake today for free with no purchase. So I got to look into that. It's the National Whataburger Day. I read that last night, and it was supposed to be today, National Whataburger Day. In fact, is August 8th. Now, which is funny because 8/8 was usually National Dallas Cowboy Day. Remember back in the day when there were 16 games in a regular season? We used to call August 8th Cowboys Appreciation Day because they would always go 8-8. So happy Dallas Cowboys Day. Now that we have 17 games in the regular season, that is no longer the case. But again, it's National Whataburger Day. And according to Whataburger, they're celebrating their 74th birthday today, and they're unveiling a sweet surprise, a free orange birthday cake shake to celebrate 74 years. It says you have to go through the Whataburger app, and what they're going to also do is raise money to fulfill teachers' wish lists. because, again, you have a lot of teachers going back to school. The kids are going back to school the next couple of weeks. A lot of teachers pay out of pocket. If you have the ability, float them some money. Float them a Target card or a Walmart card when it comes to it all. Chris Gonzalez congratulating me on day 3 of working the technology. I'm trying to figure this out. And Garrett saying, oh my God, he has ears. These headsets, they work very well, but I can't be myself when I'm wearing them because I can't hear. Sid saying that the audio is fine. Sid talking about Nelly. We got to go about that. Was he on ecstasy or not? But very nice. Ride With Me. What a great song, baby. What a great song. But let's talk about Team USA basketball. 2 p.m. tip-off, taking on Serbia. Nikola Jokic on the other side of the court. Nikola Jovic also on the court. Brogdon Bojanovic. You have a lot of good players there on that Serbian team. Now, the U.S. beat Serbia pretty handily earlier in the Olympics and in the exhibitions. But this is going to be for, a medal, right? This is for the right to go into the gold medal games. And the way that I look at it, I was talking to my dad about this. Team USA has been playing a little bit better each game. They struggled a little bit during the exhibition. Maybe they're just kind of but they've been playing a lot better. Kevin Durant, as I mentioned to my dad, Kevin Durant plays FIBA ball very well. There's a difference between FIBA ball and NBA ball, and you see players like Bam Adebayo play it well. LeBron James play it well. But there's others who struggle. Devin Booker struggles with FIBA ball. You see on the other teams, Patty Mills is like a legend in FIBA ball because it's a different game. It's a different court, it's a different size, different dimension, different spacing, different offensive setups, different size of the lane, different basketball. Everything is different. So it's not the same. The rules are different. You can get away with a lot more. The referees allow defense to be played. The referees allow for there to be physicality. So certain NBA players rise to that occasion. We saw that with Manu Ginobili in 2004. We see that with Patty Mills now. But the thing about it is that you take a look at this Team USA roster, and I think Steve Kerr is trying to have a hard time figuring out which 5 he wants to play. He sat Tatum early on. He sat Embiid early on. Is he resting these players, or is he simply not exactly 100% sure how he wants to play this team? Again, he assembled a team of all-stars. It's like the Avengers out there playing for Team USA, right? All the best American players are out there as opposed to developing a team. I don't want to see Booker out there playing more than 20 minutes because he's been out there. He's doing okay from time to time, but I'm not a big fan. I think the best lineup obviously includes LeBron. I think the best lineup includes players like Drew Holiday and Derek White. I think Kevin Durant is that guy. Kevin Durant, now the all-time leader in points when it comes to Olympic basketball for men's basketball. So that is where I'm going to want them to go at when it comes to that. Serbia has Jokic, though. And I know you can throw Anthony Davis at him. I know you can throw Bam Adebayo at him. But they have Jokic. And Jokic is not letting the smaller court get to him. He had 26 points in this last game. He's not letting that affect him. If he needs to go off for 30 and 15, if Jokic goes off for 30 and 15 in a 40-minute game, Serbia is going to be in this game. Team USA cannot play sloppy ball like they sometimes do. They cannot get cold from 3 like they sometimes do. Again, you go cold for 6 to 8 minutes in this game, you're going to lose. That's just the way that it works. Team USA should win this game. I'm going to say that they're going to win this game by a closer margin than most people think. I think it's going to be single digits, like 8 or 9 points. But I think Team USA will move on. Sith coming out and saying, a call-in show would be dope, would take a lot of weight off my shoulders. Dude, I asked a lot of people today. I asked John Dyer. I asked Alex Noriega, Sean Quintero. I asked a handful of other people if they would be on the show today. It is a lot of heavy lifting that's being done all at one time. But the fact of the matter is that I'm kind of used to it. I've done it before. But it's just you need to have a lot of topics, right? And, talking about the Olympics is kind of strange because it's a different type of thing. It's not like there's Olympics, it's not like we follow track and field all day long. It's not like we tackle Simone Biles in gymnastics. We don't follow them as well. So it's a little bit different, man. Garrett coming out saying Steve Kerr's going to try to figure out who can play with Steph Curry. Some of these players are designed better for FIBA ball. We're seeing that with Derek White. We're seeing that with Drew. We're seeing that with all that. Are we talking about the Olympic baddie bracket yet? Sam Slintz is asking. Oh my God, dude. I've seen some of those memes. Hotties. Who's that one swimmer from SMU? This is where I wish I was in the studio with Joe. There's a swimmer from SMU who's in her second Olympics, and I think she won a silver this year. That woman is stunning. I mean, we all talk about Livy Dunn. We all talk about Olympians like Livy Dunn or Michaela Maroney back in the day. But that girl from SMU, who doesn't play for the United States, doesn't swim for the United States, swims from another country, is Iwa Swoboda. Is that what Sam Slins is saying? I'm going to go ahead and trust you on that one. Nugget. Like 3-seed nugget. 3-seed nugget in next year's baddie brackets. Book it. That girl is smoking hot. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to kind of look her up. Iwa Swoboda. I'm going to look her up right now. Let's do this together. Iwa Swoboda. I think she won a silver this year. Oh, Iwa Swoboda is the track star. Okay, the SMU swimmer at the Olympics is apparently she was kicked out of the Olympic Village for creating, quote, an inappropriate atmosphere. She's from Paraguay. Luana Alonso. Look her up, dude. That girl, good Lord. Okay, I'm going to Instagram image this right now. She is remarkable. Anyway, very nice. Garrett saying he's looking forward to the 400-meter hurdles today. That is what the Olympics are all about, man. 100-yard dash, the 4x100, 4x400. I love watching all of that. That is what I think about when I see the Olympics. Sam is asking the question, what did that girl do? I want to know what she did. It's got to be some nakedness, right? That's what it's got to be, right? It's got to be some nakedness. But again, the Olympics continue today. Team USA, Serbia, 2 o'clock. France and Germany get going at about 11:15, 11:30 San Antonio time. What are your thoughts on that? Who do you got today? Do you got Wemby? Wemby held the 7 points and 12 rebounds. I was talking to my friends and family yesterday about Wemby. Dude, they triple teamed him every time down the court, and they dared France to knock down threes, and they got them done. You guys are still arguing on our chat line here about who's the hottest Olympian. I got to find the name. I'll find it. Dude, this is when we need to have Joe here, man, so I can image search this woman. She's beautiful. Absolutely insane. But again, today we have Team France going out there. Germany and France. Germany has got to be the favorite in this game. Germany has more NBA talent there. You see some of these players that Germany has out there. That guy from Orlando. I'm looking at Germany-France spread. Do you think the home cooking playing in France is going to be a big thing? Germany favored by 6 points against France with an over-under of 156. If I go 156, well, it's a 40-minute game, not a 48-minute game. So they're expecting it to become some sort of defensive battle. Germany and France, 6-point spread. USA-Serbia spread is going to be, let's see here. I'm going to say 9. Wow, Team USA is minus 700. So it's got to be a double-digit spread when it comes to, here it goes, 16.5 is what Team USA, I think it's going to be around an 8 or 9 point game. But Team USA, heavy favorites going in to this round to go into the gold medal. 6-point spread between France and Germany. Again, they're playing in Paris. They've got the home cooking going, man. I would not be surprised if that home court advantage gets going. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Wemby winning the gold medal in Paris? I know they would go crazy if they won the bronze in Paris, but if he won the gold and he got to that and it was Team France in Paris with Wemby against Team USA, we've got to cheer for that, man. That would go down in the record books as one of the most watched games of all time, not only because Team USA is in the finals, but because they're taking on the home country with a phenom like Victor Wembanyama. Wemby does not have a complete team, man. That guard play from France is very suspect, but they came through in the last game. JHNSB comes out and says Germany is going to win this game easily. He says the teams know how to control Wemby already to make a shell of himself. He can be tamed, unfortunately. He can be tamed for the simple fact that the court's narrow and the front court is not as wide. And because of that, you put 3 people in front of him, there's not a lot of movement. We've seen interviews with Giannis, with Luka Doncic, with all these players, Nikola Jokic, who have come out and said playing basketball in the NBA is so easy because the offensive player can get through. There's more space to maneuver. There's more space to do cuts. There's more space to pass and to dart towards the basket. And then also the refereeing is more pro offense than it is pro defense. So it's a different game, man. I don't look at Wemby getting 7 points, 12 rebounds, and three assists as being a bad game. I don't. It's just the way that FIBA works. Look at what he was doing when he was playing for that team in France last season in the pros. They play by FIBA rules as well. And you saw he was not averaging 20 points per game. He barely even got 16 or 17 points per game. The rules are different, man, and it's playing a different level of basketball. And it's more fun to watch, to be honest with you. And I've been seeing these articles that are saying that there might be tournaments in the future where Team USA takes part in some of those FIBA-type events where it's like the best of the best, the champions. They're not going to take part in the league necessarily, but like the best of the best, I'd watch it. Tavares saying that he thinks that they play at 10:30 Central. Could be. I saw 11:30. I didn't know if it was Eastern or Central. Tex-Mex Frank says, Michael, can you call my company and get me a hall pass for our meeting? I need to watch and listen to Alamo City Podcast. That's right, baby. But again, we don't date the show. So when we do this show, we make sure that it's enjoyable no matter what part of the day that you're watching. But Tex-Mex Frank, a big supporter. And for those of you who like your those Texican hats, you got to hook up, got to reach out to Tex-Mex Frank for those. But today's game, July 26th, saying if Victor wins, San Antonio wins. Guys, this is like what Manu did back in 2004. Exactly right. Sam Salinas asking the question. So what you're saying, Michael, is that the NBA needs to go back to the 80s and 90s, maybe even the 2000s game. That was when it was best. I mean, don't you miss that? I miss that in the NFL also. The only game that is evolving that I'm like, okay, this is better is baseball. Went to the Astros game. That thing was over real fast, right? I don't want to sit there and watch a baseball player scratch his balls for 45 seconds between every pitch. Don't want to see that. But basketball, playing more defense. Now, it couldn't be bad boys basketball because that was bad basketball also. Don't get me wrong, going back in the day, and I was in high school when Lambeer and Rodman and all that were going after the Bulls. I was like a middle school, high school type of age. That's fun, right? But no one liked that 85 to 77 scoring type of game where the defense was beating up on the offensive player. There needs to be a balance. So right now, what we're seeing with these games right now is that the offensive balance is too heavily tilted towards the offense. And in football, too heavily tilted towards the quarterback. I understand wanting to protect the quarterback, but by God, you get penalized for 15 yards for even sniffing the quarterback, much less hitting the quarterback. There needs to be some sort of happy medium. I would say the perfect basketball was being played right around the beautiful game of the Spurs back in 2013, 2014, 2015, that time frame. I think that's when it was best. Sam Salinas saying take the under, that France-Germany game. Again, France favored, Germany favored by 6 points this game. Sam also wants to know if they have a FIBA championship, they need to do something. I agree. Mario says, got to watch out for that effer. Dennis Schroeder. He undercut Wemby the last time they played. He's a little bit of a dirty player. Jacob saying that he misses the NBA having defense. Sam agreement with Sam according to Textbooks Frank. Chris saying I want the NBA to go to 10-minute quarters. Dude, I just want cheerleaders again, man. I want the Silver Dancers back now. Okay? I don't want them. That hype squad sucks, dude. Just does nothing for me. So I was on Locked On Spurs today, And it's going to appear tomorrow. So don't forget to subscribe to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's Five with your daily Spurs content. He was talking to me about Jeremy Sochan, and it was the end of the show. And it was funny because I was doing the show from outside, and it was a round table between me, Jeff, and Jack Thompson. And when that was going on, my phone melted. And I don't know if that's ever happened to you. You're on your iPhone outside and it just melts. It says too hot, overheated. You got to take it inside or turn it off. And that's what happened. What was funny was that I was going on a rant about Jeremy Sochan. And the question became, is Jeremy Sochan going to have a leap this year? Another leap this year? See, they said another leap. And I got them upset because I said, are we 100% positive that Jeremy Sochan had any leap last year? Now, I think he's going to be better this year. Year 3, going to be better. But I don't think I was off base by saying he didn't have much of a leap in year 1 to 2. His effective field goal shooting percentage was identical. And it's like, they're all like, that's all you got. Well, that's all I need. We're in a shooter's league. You can't shoot. So it was funny having that meltdown. I'm going to see how that goes on. Chris Gonzalez saying that the phone melted because it's 109 degrees outside. True. JHNSB saying the dark arts of Sochan. You know, Sochan, I like Sochan as a player on this team now. I didn't like him on the team before when he first came on. Jack Thompson, a really good friend of ours, was basically saying that was one of his favorite college players when he was over at Baylor. And I trust him when it comes to that. And you need to have a Jeremy Sochan type of player on a winning team. The problem is that when he's not on a winning team, he looks out of place. They dare him to shoot the ball. And a lot of people are like, oh, he's gone from 24% to 30% three-point shooting. He's left wide the F open the entire time. There's a reason why he's left wide open. It's because the other teams want him to shoot. They realize that it's better for them as a team for him to shoot the ball. So I don't know if Jeremy Sochan's ever going to be a shooter. I don't know what you guys think. If he's going to be a guy that's going to be a 35, 36% three-point shooter. The argument I always hear is, well, just give him practice. Just let him shoot more and more and more. But the thing about it is this. Why didn't that work for Russell Westbrook? Russell Westbrook has been a terrible shooter from day one. Never got any better. He can shoot the ball 30, 40, 50 times a game, which he does. Never got any better. So the idea that certain players are going to improve certain parts of the game as pros doesn't necessarily happen. Tavares asking the question, does the team have to pay him, Malachi, and Blake after next season? Well, let's go and look at that. Spurs contracts for the next few years. I'm going to look that up real fast. So according to basketballreference.com, here's who the Spurs have on the roster right now. The Spurs have Devin Vassell making $29 million, Keldon Johnson at 19, Harrison Barnes at 18, Zach Collins at 16.5. You have Wemby at under 13, Chris Paul at 10.5, Stephon Castle at 9, Trey Jones at 9, Jeremy Sochan at 5.5, Malachi Branham at 3, Julian Champagnie at 3, Blake Wesley at 3, Charles Bassey at 2, Sidy Cissoko at just around 2. And now you add another player coming into the mix for the Spurs. The Spurs have a lot of guaranteed contracts out there. They brought up Julian Champagnie. But let's take a look here. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs talking about the fact the Spurs picked up another player yesterday. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it's nice to have point guard help, dude. I mean, that's basically it. The Spurs are trying to beef up the point guard. I'm trying to get the information here on him real fast. But, I mean, how excited are you about this? And by the way, I saw this again right now. Our good friends. Are we the only morning podcast now? Did that happen? Interesting. Midtown Task is asking the question, so why are we so guard heavy? Chris Paul gets hurt from time to time. Trey Jones gets hurt from time to time. We needed a point guard. I mean, you have 15 players. You're going to have 7 or 8 in the front court, 7 or 8 in the back court. So it just kind of is what it is. Tavares saying the game is on now. Go Team France. Tavares asking the question, do you think a team can get a first for Sochan? Yeah, you can. You can. Now, you're not going to get a top 5 or top 10 pick, but you can get a first for Sochan, most definitely. The problem with Sochan is that he has a type of play that is good for teams that are good. Teams that are bad, he just sticks out like a sore thumb because he does all the little things. But the little things matter for teams that are winning. Little things don't necessarily matter for teams that are losing. The teams that are losing need shooters. They need people to lock down D, and at least he does that. At least he does that. There was that one game where he went off on Luka Doncic, and he bodied him up and swallowed up Luka Doncic one game. Luka came back and returned the favor a couple of times. But Sochan has a defensive skill set that if I'm going to go on the effective field goal stat, there are stats out there that suggest that Sochan is a very, very good defender, that he's a very good lockdown defender, and that he can guard multiple positions, more than likely a 2 and 3 and the 4. I don't believe that he can lock down the 1 unless it's a bigger dude like Doncic. But that's a very respectable thing to have on this team. I want Jeremy Sochan to do better. Okay, if he can get his shooting to 33, 34% from 3, if he can get his effective field goal shooting to 52% from 48, that's all I need. I don't need him to be great. I just need him to be okay. Because I will take an elite defender with okay offensive ability. That's okay. Right now we have a pretty good defender with bottom 15 percentile offensive ability. And I know he has those games. Joe and I went to that one game at the Frost Bank Center where he went off for like 30 points. He has those bursts, but then they're followed up by 6-point performances and 4-point performances. It's just different. Sam Selena is saying, bottom line, is Sochan bad return on investment because he was picked too damn high. He was picked at number 9 in a draft that was not necessarily very strong. If you were to go back and redraft that, he'd probably be picked around 7, 8, 9, or 10. Halliburton was picked right behind him. But then again, you look at that and you go, okay, well, there's maybe Jalen Williams was picked behind him, I think at 17. You can look at that and go, okay, well, those are 2 players that are better than Sochan. But then again, there are about 3 or 4 players that are worse than Sochan that were taken before him. July 26 says, after this year, the Spurs have to make a decision to extend Jeremy, Blake, and Malachi Branham since they're from the same draft year. I think they'd have to move on from some of them at least. Probably Blake Wesley is going to be the one that gets moved on from. So you're right. The Spurs have team options next year on a handful of players. The team options next year include Victor Wembanyama. Obviously, we're going to keep him. We have a player option on Malachi Branham, Jeremy Sochan, and Blake Wesley. See, this is when we talk about, well, the Spurs have all this salary cap space. Well, what's going to happen then? Because if they're going to keep Blake Wesley, they have to increase him from $2.6 million to $4.7. If they keep Malachi Branham, they got to give him a raise from 3.2 to 5. If you're going to keep Jeremy Sochan, he has to go from 5.5 to 7.1. The contracts that are coming off the board next year include Chris Paul, who's on a 1-year deal. Trey Jones is in the final year of his deal as well. Charles Bassey is on the final year of his deal. So the Spurs don't have a lot of expiring contracts unless you're going to deal Trey Jones. And I think this is a really pivotal year for Trey Jones because we're going to take a look at what Stephon Castle has. We're going to take a look at what he does. People are asking the question on the chat, have I seen Hard Knocks? No, that's on my viewing list for today. Chicago Bears are the team on Hard Knocks this summer. So I'm going to go check that out. I'm a big fan of that show. I'm a big fan of the narrator, that dude from Spotlight. What's his name? Liv Schreiber, I think is his name. I think he's returning this year, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Mario Cavazos reminding us that Jeremy Sochan got killed by JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr., this past year. It happens, but Jeremy Sochan, he caught my attention when I was there in Houston. I was pretty close to the court, and I saw him go after certain players and start talking trash and blow kisses at the other players. He got into a dust-up with Allman Thompson. That was fun. That was fun to watch. Again, the Olympics are going on right now. Let's see if we can have an update. Anybody have an update on that game? Let's see here. $5 super chat coming in right now. Oh, my God. Germany's beating the living crap out of France right now. Game over. 3 minutes in, game over. Germany up 12-2 over France right now. $5 super chat coming in from the Drew Show. Thank you so much, man. Says the French coach is denser than a box of rocks. No way you have your short, pudgy power forward bringing up the ball against the number one defense in the Olympics. That German team's no joke, man. That German team won the FIBA Cup last year. David Outwater going, yeah, wow, 12-2 early. Saying France looks like crap. See, I'm trying to change it up, man. I've had people reach out to me and say that I've been cursing a little bit too much on here. You know, poll on the stream here. Am I cursing too much, or is it just right? But Drew, thank you so much for the super chat. That's the thing about it. The front court. I mean, keep in mind this: they only played Rudy Gobert 4 minutes in the last game, just 4 minutes. Defensive Player of the Year, the NBA, just 4 minutes because they were saying that he doesn't bring it on the offensive side of the ball. That small ball's killing them on FIBA. Again, FIBA rules are different. You could be a better defender in the NBA sometimes than you can in FIBA and vice versa. Sam is saying that I don't curse enough. Shout out to MCS General Contracting. By the way, I'm looking at my patio right now. I'm looking at the fine work that MCS General Contracting did. Again, reach out to them if you need any concrete placement needs, slabs, parking lots, basketball courts, swimming pools. They're here for you when it comes to it. David Outwater coming in strong, saying 12-4 now. Chris Gonzalez asked the question, what happened to the Hood High School? Is that on hold due to Joe learning to beat Jack Ryan? That's funny. Yeah, that is on hold right now. So we had certain schools that advanced on the Hood tournaments. We had Jay High School advance. We had schools like Lanier advance. Obviously, Jay. I mean, Jay, we're doing a tournament for Jay to win, right? That's basically it. It's kind of like Team USA in basketball. Team USA is like the prohibitive favorite of Hood School. And it's kind of funny because Jay's a Northside school. And I love going to Jay. I officiate high school basketball at Jay pretty frequently, and I like going there. It's not bad. I have friends who even work there. Were you alive the day Tupac died in 1996? Is this the anniversary? Let's see here. Oh, the anniversary is next week. The next month, rather. September 13th is the day that he died. He died September 13th, 1996. But we could talk about Tupac. You know, you go back in time, and when you think of Tupac, you know, Machiavelli, you think of you know, what he did with Dre and all of those guys, you know, what was it called? Death Row Records. But man, I go back and I look at Tupac and I think of two things. I think of his movies. Believe it or not, I watched his movies growing up. I remember Juice. I remember Poetic Justice. Poetic Justice I just recently watched for the first time. But Juice was a movie that I saw back in the day. He was talented, man. Very talented. Sam saying Tupac ain't dead. Chappelle told us so. JHNSB saying that Wemby's absolutely horrible in this game. So you're saying he's not going to medal. Again, the winner of this game advances to the gold medal round. It is 16-9 with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, 4:49 to go. And Germany went out to that early lead, 12-2 start. It's now 16-9, so France making a little bit of a comeback. United States and Serbia get going today at 2 o'clock. The losers of these games play for the bronze medal. Angel coming out and saying Janet is funny. You know, she was good in that movie, dude. I like the cookout scene when they went to the park and they kind of like blended in with the cookout. That was a pretty good scene, man. Poetic Justice was pretty damn good. Drew Show saying fat, short French power forward looking Philip Seymour Hoffman is coming in a long game, Paulie. What does he think he can rain threes? I know who you're talking about. That is funny. That is funny. Did you see rapper Nelly got arrested a couple of days ago? It's all over TMZ.com. So rapper Nelly was in a casino in Missouri. And now that I think about it, isn't that where he's from, right? He used to wear the St. Louis Cardinals gear. He used to have the Band-Aid right here that would say KC on it. So he's from Missouri. Apparently, he went to a casino that he normally frequents, that he's a regular there sometimes, right? Goes out there, hits a jackpot, and apparently a police officer came up to him and asked for his ID and for him to identify himself to do a background check, not to ID himself, but for a background check. And apparently, according to Nelly's attorneys, they said that was BS because you don't need to have a background check. And in fact, say that Nelly had won a jackpot there before and didn't have to go through that background check. They did a background check, and apparently he had a warrant for a ticket like 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, or 5 years ago, 2019, and that instead of letting him address the ticket, they arrested him in front of everybody in the casino and walked him out and took him to jail. Then they searched his stuff, and they claimed they found ecstasy. So now he's facing drug charges, but his attorney told TMZ that, I don't know what you're talking about. He never got charged with drugs. So this is a developing story. I know that he recently got married to Ashanti, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys are talking about this game. I gotta turn that game on, man. I turned it off. I thought it started at 11:30, man. I turned it off. But again, Nelly say that he is innocent and that he shouldn't have been checked in the first place. France coming back now, down 18-16, 2:45 to go. D'Lo coming out and saying Olympic Schroeder is the next Olympic Patty Mills. That's funny. I like the fact that you guys can multitask and can watch the game and watch a podcast at the same time. Very, very nice. I miss Joe. Do you guys miss Joe? I miss Joe. The whole dynamic has changed, and I miss him. Dude, I need some of you guys over here. D'Lo, Outwater, you guys, Salinas. Dude, we'll go do the show from a freaking Starbucks next to your work, man. We'll go ahead and do it that way. But the Olympics again going on today. Joe is going to be out for the next couple of weeks, and I really do need to have somebody come in here and party with me and do all this stuff. I'm taking a look this weekend. I'm supposed to be going out this weekend to Lake Charles. Thinking about doing some gambling this weekend. Got to teach a friend how to play Pai Gow poker. That's my thing. That is my thing. Hand of a fist asking, what up, MJ? D'Lo saying French squad's a bunch of bums. Samson is saying Wemby out of the game. What does it say if France evens the game out with Wemby on the bench? So, Tony, bro, Wemby got into a shoving match right now. Get off the show and watch the game. Wemby is so angry. Let's take a look here. Tell you what, y'all hold on 1 second. This is bad podcasting, but I'm going to turn it on. Give me 1 second. All right. I'm back, baby. Let's turn this on, man. You guys are killing me. So what's this game on? Peacock? All right. I'll watch with you guys. Sam is pissed that he missed the shoving match. Have we ever seen him get mad before? Has that ever happened? Because I don't remember Wemby ever getting into a shoving match ever before in the NBA. JHNSB saying Wemby is on the bench and France is getting back without him. How sad. Hand over fist with a $10 super chat. Thanks for coming on, MJ. On the road, keep us updated on the France-Germany game. I can do that, man. I can do that. Let's take a look here. I mentioned the other day on Twitter that I'm enjoying the NBC Peacock broadcasting compared to what TNT brought to the table. So overplayed. Germany has just made a bucket, make it 2016. Looks like Wemby is still on the bench. Oh, well, there you go. So I'll keep you posted when it comes to all that. But why do you guys think that it says something that the team makes a run with him on the bench? Is it because you think that he's just not a good FIBA player, or what? France with a bucket right there, making it 2018. Dude, it's so cool watching the crowd out there just lose their minds because it's the home team. And that's got to count for something, man. If it is a close game with 2 or 3 minutes to go, if it is a close game, wouldn't you think that France has to pull it out simply because they have the crowd behind them? JHNSB, those bums in all quotes are carrying Team France right now. That's funny. Chris Gonzalez saying that he's quadruple tasking. Alamo City Podcast, watching franchise, working, and washing clothes. So Drew Show saying, so Mike Taylor is going to be a public school teacher. That's why his pod is going nights. That's what I've heard. I haven't reached out to Rudy because Rudy's on vacation. And I know he's doing the podcast while on vacation, but I'll reach out to them. That's a big deal for our podcast. Once Joe gets back and once the Spurs season starts, once the NFL season gets going, and once you start seeing college football get going, that's a big thing. If we're the only podcast in town doing anything from 10 to 12, maybe we make it a 2-hour show. Right now, we're kind of in the doldrums. Without the Olympics, we're talking about what, baseball? Baseball sucks. I mean, even Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia is doing it only 3 out of 5 days as opposed to every day. It's because there's not much going on when it comes to sports. This is the weird time of the year, but then this is the eye of the storm, the calm before the storm, because one of the things that's going to go on is what happens in the next 3 or 4 weeks. College football, the UTSA football gets going. They're going to be playing Texas State on the 7th. They get going, I think, on the 31st, if I'm not mistaken, of August. It's this month, baby. They're going to get going this month. And just think about that. We're 3 weeks away from college football. We're just, 4 weeks away from the NFL. We've got NBA coming up thereafter. We've got the MLB playoffs after that. It's a calm before the storm. And if we're the only podcast doing this Monday through Friday from 10 to 12, and again, there's a cutaway right now of Greg Popovich and I think that was R.C. Buford. They're in France watching Wemby play. Being the only podcast in town doing this from 10 to 12 is a big, big deal. And we need to go get our Thunderdome people and let them know, hey, there's still a show for them to watch. And I'm happy for Mike Taylor. Mike Taylor is a really good guy. He's been a good guy to me. And he's been very friendly to this podcast. He even appeared on this podcast. There's no animosity. People think that we are like rivals. We're not. I would consider him a friend, actually. So congratulations, as Drew's show mentioned, that Mike Taylor is going to become a public school teacher. I don't think he said what school it's going to be. That's it. Sam is asking if I have one of those old school TVs that gets turned on by a knob. No. If you want to see the rest of the house, here's the kitchen. Oh. And there's the TV and everything going on over there. Let's see here. Sam Slim is asking the question, does the international game know how to suppress Wemby? He needs to up his game because NBA teams will have to review those tapes. I mean, I get it, but it doesn't necessarily work that way because the dimensions of the court are different. I mean, look at the basketball court from where you are right now. Do you see how narrow it is? I mean, it's not as small as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air court from back in the day. Remember when you take 2 steps from the midcourt line and suddenly you're in the lane? That's not the case, but Hello, anybody out there?